Hello guys and welcome to my new video, and today we're looking at some of the latest proposed nerfs and buffs to healing classes. And honestly, this is going to be an interesting video because there is a direct correlation to Blizzard buffing and nerfing classes based on raid performance and logs, because I'll show you how healers are performing in raid right now. So before I'm going to go to buffs and nerfs, I want to show you what the healing is like right now. And you can see here on the screen, Vault Incarnates 10.1 patch. You can see here 75%. So if you're playing your class or healer above average, you're probably experiencing HPS numbers, something like this. And again, this is only HPS numbers. This is not showing damage reduction cooldowns like Aura Mastery or Devo Aura with Aura Master, things like Barrier for Discipline Priest, things like Spirit Link for Restoration Shamans. So what you can see right now straight away is that, again, before I'm going to talk about this, a little bit of disclaimer. This is Season 1 information. You cannot really expect the same numbers in Season 2 because the biggest things that are going to change in the next season, it's going to be tier sets, how your class scales with, again, additional stats and things like that. The difference between Season 1 tier sets and Season 2 tier sets can sometimes be relatively hard to really, get the exact numbers, but I'll try and make some predictions. Straight away, based on this whole list, you can see here, Restoration Druid, it's not really doing that hot. Again, a lot of the times you'll consider Resto Druid as being a pure HPS healer because it doesn't provide damage reduction cooldowns. It can provide a decent amount of damage with things like Nature's Vigil, a very passive amount of damage. Blizzard has looked at that, and they decided that Restoration Druid, all healing and damage is going to be increased by 2%. And it's a clear indication in my eyes that they're looking at the data from raids for Vault and Incarnate right now, because they can see Resto Druid being the pure HPS healer is not doing a good amount of HPS, and it might not be as popular in Season 2. You have to remember, Season 1 Resto Druid tier set is really, really good in terms of pure HPS. I don't know how it's going to compare with Season 2 tier set. Season 2 tier set is a lot more about that flourish and extending your flourish uptime. I think Blizzard was a little bit scared about Druids falling off in HPS. For Druid players out there, I think it was relatively scary time, and I think it still is kind of relatively scary time. But again, it's all depending on how the new raid damage patterns are going to turn out. Now, what else do we see in this chart? We see a big outlier here in terms of Holy Paladin. Holy Paladin is actually pumping, and honestly, I made my tier video prediction, and I wanted to put Holy Paladins S tier because I genuinely think their HPS was really high, and the fact that they provide damage reduction cooldown that doesn't show up in these meters is absolutely wild. On top of that, Holy Paladin damage in raids, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So Holy Paladin is looking to be like the perfect healer in raids because bonus in Season 2 has been buffed by such a big margin that tier set bonus for Holy Paladins is looking to be a pretty good bonus that's also going to increase your HPS. And Blizzard is looking at this and they're like, whoa, we have a runaway healer right now. We have a Holy Paladin, the trifecta of healing, damage, and damage reduction. On top of that, they're getting a good tier set that has been buffed so much. Let's go and nerf them in a somewhat significant way. So you can see here, Holy Paladin, all healing and damage. The damage portion is a bit weird, especially in Mythic Plus, but all healing and damage decreased by 3%, which again is not the end of the world. Holy Paladins are still going to be looking pretty strong, but Avenging Crusader, which was looking very strong in raid environments, and possibly I think some Holy Paladins were going to experiment with Avenging Crusader in Mythic Plus. I was running it in PTO and I was having a decent time. Now transfers 500% of damage done into healing instead of 575%. So this is like a direct nerf to Holy Paladins based on the raid performance, because Avenging Crusader was a lot more popular in raids than it was in Mythic Plus, and we'll probably see Holy Paladin dipping a little bit. Again, they're still providing a lot of good things. They're still getting a good tier set bonus at the end of the day, and I think Holy Paladins are still looking to be like a very solid healer, but Blizzard is looking at this data. Now, in terms of other healers receiving some changes, Mistweaver Monk got some changes or buffs in terms of their toolkit. You can see here, Mistweaver Monk, Essence Font healing increased by 15%. This makes a whole lot of sense because Essence Font has been losing a lot of value in Dragonflight, and a lot of people or Mistweaver Monks have been emphasizing on gameplay where you're getting as many renewing myths out there as possible and ramping with Vivify, and that gameplay was also looking to be strong in Season 2, especially because of the tier set bonus, maybe Clouded Focus making a comeback in raid situations as well. So Blizzard doesn't want Essence Font to be almost disregarded in Mistweaver Toolkit, and it makes sense for them to buff it. We'll have to see if that 15% increase is going to be enough. Again, I haven't looked at the numbers, but it makes a whole lot of sense. So what's happening in Season 2 in terms of raid? Now, we're looking at Vault Incarnate information because Blizzard looks at this information. It's clearly, or you can see that Blizzard is buffing and nerfing classes based on this. Their priority right now is going to be raid balance because the new raid is going to be very, very popular, and then possibly after the raid hype is going to die down, they're probably going to focus on Mythic Plus a little bit more. So what are my predictions in terms of, or based on this information? Holy Paladins are getting nerfed. It makes a whole lot of sense whether you like it or not. The fact that you have a damage reduction healer topping HPS meters could create a really toxic balance. You shouldn't be sorry or unhappy if you're a Holy Paladin, because you still have a really strong tier set in Season 2, because that tier set has been buffed by so much. Holy Paladin is still, in my eyes, going to be a solid healer. Maybe not the top HPS healer right now because of the changes that they made, because they're somewhat significant, but it still provides a lot. Preservation Evoker, absolutely going to jump in HPS meters. Season 1, this is using Season 1 tier set. Season 1 tier set for Evoker is not, how do I say, it's not good at all in terms of HPS, because the 4 set bonus is more aimed towards that Mythic Plus in terms of providing damage. In Season 2, Preservation Evoker tier set bonus is going to be pure HPS bonus, and the 2 set bonus alone is going to change the way you're playing your Evoker, bringing you more into that Spirit Bloom ramping phase. Evokers are going to pick up that tier set, or when you get your 4 set bonus, you're going to have a significant increase in your HPS, and probably, in my eyes, be the top HPS healer. We'll have to see how that's going to turn out. You'll have to look at the good sides and bad sides. Preservation Evoker is getting a pure HPS tier set, but they're losing a lot of damage because they're losing Season 1 4 set bonus, which was great in Mythic Plus. So there's downsides and upsides to what's happening to Preservation Evoker. I still think they're going to be really, really strong in terms of HPS. Now, Restoration Shaman tier set bonus in Season 1, I thought it was very passive, but it was still very solid because it provided damage and healing. In terms of Restoration Shaman tier set bonus in Season 2, it's very hard to put a good number on this because I think the 2 set bonus alone is going to provide so much overhealing because you're pressing healing rain, but very hard to put a number on it. I don't think they're going to climb all that much. I think it's going to be still in a very, very decent position in terms of utility, HPS, and damage. Again, you're providing damage through Acid Rain. Holy Priest, I think the 2 set bonus alone in terms of prayer mending is going to make Holy Priest so much easier to play. Definitely for Holy Priest, the tier set is going to feel more impactful in raids than it does in Mythic Plus because of prayer mending and how it just works in raids. In terms of Mistweaver, honestly, I have no idea right now because it's just really hard to put a number on a tier set in Season 2. The 2 set bonus that gives you mana. How do you put number to mana in terms of pure HPS? So I'm not even going to attempt this. I am looking forward to trying out the Clouded Focus build. I'm not sure if it's going to be all that fun compared to that pure fist weaving build, but guys, let me know if you're playing Mistweaver. Are you happy to try Clouded Focus? And in terms of Discipline Priest, the Discipline Priest Season 2 tier set bonus is going to provide you with a lot of gameplay changes in terms of making Powered Radiance a lot easier to use, more powerful. Again, you can have instant cast of Powered Radiance, which means that if you're trying to ramp and you have to move, it's going to make it easier. There's a lot of quality of life improvements here. There's a lot of improvements in terms of your resource generation or just reducing the mana cost of certain abilities, meaning that you don't have to rely on mana as much. So I think it's interesting, especially because things like Potion of Chill Clarity is losing a lot of value in Season 2, and a lot of healers in here, things like Restored Druids and a few others, are really unhappy about this. And I don't want to talk too much about Restoration Druid because they are getting buffed, and I think Blizzard is acknowledging the fact that pure HPS healers, things like Restored Druid, they should be doing more HPS, and I think the tier set bonus in Season 2 is looking a lot at that uptime in terms of Flourish, and I think on fights where there's a lot of rot damage, it's going to be really strong, but on fights where you might have shorter burst windows, you might be wasting some of it, but again, that's still someone's speculation. I still think you should play whichever healer you want. I don't think the difference between the healers is all that big. I think Holy Paladin was definitely an outlier a little bit in these terms, and I think Blizzard, again, you can see, if there's going to be healers that are going to be better than others in a lot of aspects, Blizzard is going to go and nerf them really, really fast. So playing the healer that seems to be by far the best right now, it's going to get nerfed, it's going to get changed, because Blizzard is paying attention. Guys, how do you feel about this nerfs and buffs and changes to classes? Because you can clearly see Blizzard is focusing on raid balance first because of these changes, and probably they'll focus on Mythic Plus later down the line. How do you feel about this? Let me know, and I'll see you in my next video.